Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Dirty Pool Podcast. This is episode 9, which is crazy because 2 days ago we did episode 8. Normally, we don't have such back-to-back ones, but this week is a special occasion. We have a new launch. We have a new pinball machine. And I am stoked to be joined by none other than Daniel Janson of Pinball Brothers and CEO and the, I would say, creative force behind Predator Pinball. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So, man, oh man, I've got so much to dive into. So Predator, I love that your last couple of games, or at least it seems like that you guys have kind of dialed into the IPs of like 80 nostalgia action films. And I don't know if that's something that you guys want to be kind of like known for in the way that Spooky is known for doing like horror pins. But I love that you guys have kind of gone all in on the style for Predator. Can you talk a little bit about like what was the thought process behind acquiring the license and then diving into this?
Yeah, but I think you're right. Actually, I think this is what we're aiming to do. We really love the 70s and 80s in particular. So there might be more games coming in the same kind of genre, if you like. Or
hot take. I feel like that's a subtle plant right there.
Yeah. We have some plans, yes. But when it comes to Predator in particular, I think it's not only because it's from the 80s and it's nostalgia, it's also obviously related to Alien. And since we did Alien and we had a contract for Alien, it felt like a natural step for us to make Predator. We see the game quite a lot as a sister game to Alien, to be honest.
Sure. Yeah, for people that aren't familiar with the films, there are references to both franchises in a number of spots, including the alien skull on the Predator ship, among other things. Are there any Easter eggs that you've hidden on the playfield that kind of like homage to the Alien game?
That could be. You have to look closely, I think. So
okay.
It's Ulrich Lawson who did the artwork, and we are really happy with it for Predator. It's just super awesome. And since he did it for Alien also, I think that's, even if it's a few years apart, they really sort of belong together, I think.
Absolutely. So I'm pulling up some of the Playfield artwork from it as well. I will say, for people that aren't listening to this later, can we center you a little bit? My cropping on your video camera is putting you a little bit half out of the way. Although it's cool because it looks like we're having a conversation with the Predator himself. Can you do the clicking sound? Can we hear your best Predator click?
No, I can't.
Here, I'll try it then.
Yeah. It's a nice try. Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that. I don't know if that was great though.
I should have brought our sound guy, Olof Gustafsson. He can do them. So
he can do the sound effects. Well, that's fantastic. I would expect that from a sound person, right?
Yeah.
So I have the Playfield artwork pulled up here. I love that you hybridized kind of like the jungle theme, but also kind of embraced a more kind of like vibrant color palette for it. When those kind of decisions filter down through the company, like how does that go? Does your artist have free will? Or are they just like, hey, like this is what I'm thinking, and you're like, okay, fine? Or what does it look like over at Pinball Brothers when you sit down and you're like designing a Playfield artwork?
It's a really good question. I have to think about it. I think it's. You always have to have some trust in your. The guy who is or girl who is doing the artwork, of course. I mean, they have to be able to work quite freely, I think. Otherwise, if you have too many discussions and too many details that you want to change, I think it's going to be a compromise somehow. But sure. Of course, we have input. And we had sort of some guidelines, and one of the guidelines actually was to not in one way Predator is a dark movie, but on the other hand it's in the jungle and it's not that dark like Alien if you compare them. So we didn't want the playfield to be too dark basically. So it's kind of nice when it's a bit vibrant. We like
sure.
that. The jungle quite green, so yeah.
I think that a lot of the 80s kind of captured that style of it being a serious but not serious. Like it's campy in a way that they like knew it was campy. I mean, you look at them freaking out and he's just like mowing a forest down with a minigun. Like no practicality to that whatsoever. But it's so taking itself serious, but at the same time, it totally knows that it's not. And I mean, you know, even just looking at the Predator monster himself, it's both a design that is gory and scary, but also like completely not at the same time.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it's hard to say that the Predator is a comedy, but it's kind of borderline to some fun all the time, more or less. But I think that is partly what makes the movie unique, I would say.
Absolutely. Plus, I think it was Alan Silvestri that did the music as well. I mean, this is like one of the most prolific composers of all time, and the score is, to me anyways, very iconic in the same way kind of like Back to the Future has its motifs that are just as memorable. So
it's, and we have that in the game, of course. So
what is it like having just a huge pair of pinball balls? And I mean that you guys have the confidence to produce a wide body game in a landscape where many companies are like, no. I think you and Spooky are the only two companies that are willing to take on the kind of lineage of still producing wide body games.
We to us it was kind of natural, I would say, because one of the aspects was actually back to Alien again, that we really wanted it to be a sister game to Alien, and that they should look nice together side by side. And then we thought it needs to be a wide body. But of course, it was also a decision, and this was maybe more important. We really wanted to put a lot of stuff in the game to make it the greatest game we could ever make. And you get a little more space when you have a wide body to work with. You can do some things with the layout that is a little bit out of the ordinary, I would say. So it was an early decision. It was a decision from the very beginning, and we haven't since then. I don't think we have not thought about that. We just planned it that way and have worked on it. So we filled it up with loads of stuff. So,
sure. Yeah. What was the motivation then behind making Alien a wide body? I know that Alien was a purchased. It wasn't a Pinball Brothers original per se, as in like the design was acquired by you guys and then you manufactured the game. But that's not the case with Predator. This one is, even though it is a sister game, this was designed in-house. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. So yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No.
By the way, we're dealing with more delay than usual. If you don't know, Pinball Brothers is located in Sweden, which we will get into later just because I think there's some interesting quirks with running a company that's overseas to a hobby that is generally purchased in the States. And I do want to get into some of those numbers. But before that, I do just want to continue talking about, you put a Predator toy in here. Like with Alien, I feel like the design was a no-brainer, right? Like it had to have an alien in it, and it probably needed to eat the ball because pinball people love to complain if a mechanic doesn't eat a ball when there's a monster in it, I feel like. Yeah. We're talking about games like Jaws that got horribly panned for that, which for the record, Jaws would not have worked if the shark ate the ball, because the shark itself is used to bash, to initiate jackpots and stuff. It would have been so stop and go if that mechanic had to eat the ball every time that was a thing. So for all those Jaws haters out there, I'm sorry. It serviced the function of the game. I digress. Back to Predator. So what was the design mentality? You're like, oh shit, we got to put a Predator in here. How do we do that?
Yeah, but I think that was also one of the first decisions that we really. I mean, the game is designed around the Predator, and the Predator itself is the sort of is the main character for us in the movie, of course. So we thought from the beginning it needs to be the centerpiece. So it might be sound like a no-brainer, but we had some discussions. But we thought that we were in agreement on that early on, I would say, and because in the movie, I mean, it's all about when they find out about the Predator, it's all about fighting it. and you have to fight the predator in the game. That was sort of super clear to us. So it was in that sense, that part of the design was really easy. So we went from there to and we wanted him in the center also of the playfield for various reasons. Mainly because we wanted to have a lot of shots available for the upper flipper to the right. So you can actually shoot the left orbit, and you can shoot the scorpion ramp, and you can shoot the inner loop that goes, the nest area we call it, that goes around the predator. You can shoot that area from left to right and surround him, so to speak. So yeah, I think that was an easy decision to have as big a predator that we could fit, basically. And we are really super happy with the Sculpt itself, the model. We have a very talented modeler named Malin Ivarsson. She's from Sweden, and she did the predator model and also the camp model.
Yeah, honestly, it looks so good. I thought it might be like an official toy that you guys just purchased in bulk and then put into it. But this is an original made sculpt?
Yes, very much so, from scratch. So it's really made for the game. And I must say I'm quite surprised how great it ended up in how detailed both the camp mold is and the predator toy in the game. I didn't thought the painting could be that detailed actually in a mass-produced game like this. So
so it definitely looks like hand painted. Whether it is or isn't, it looks like that someone took the time to make it not look like a rush product.
Yeah, it is. So yeah.
So Wolfman's asking, is it required to shake hands and say "you son of a bitch" before each game? I mean, I think that's a personal preference. I do like the type of lighting you have in here. I imagine that wide bodies in general are a little harder for lighting just because the amount of playfield that is in the center of it in order to keep it lit in a way that doesn't, just create a void of darkness in it. Seems really good. It's not like overly JJP-ified, but at the same token, it's not like overly dark like a Stern. When you are doing lighting placement on this, especially for a game that's horror themed and in a jungle, like, is there any thought process behind that, or do you kind of just like when the white wood's done, you throw lights in and see what the illumination looks like?
Yeah, a little bit of both, I would say. But of course, we did a lot of planning for the lights, more this time than ever before, I think, and I think that is because we have so many distinct places in the game that needs to have great lighting. I mean, we need great lighting for the main guy, of course, in the center. We wanted to have some good lighting effects for the helicopter up to the left, and we wanted to have great special lighting for the minigun, of course, blasting in the lower left corner, and also the camp. So I think. We have thought about lighting a lot more this time, to be honest. And we also had some great help from a technical point of view. We have a new, I tend to say we have a new partnership, but it's not really that new because we have already worked with Fast Pinball, Aaron and the guys at Fast Pinball. They have provided the boards, the electronics for Funhouse, since we are doing the remakes also at Pinball Corp. So we have gotten to know them, and we decided for this game to actually, we saw a lot of benefits to actually use their fast system in this game. And that gave us quite a lot of new opportunities when it comes to lighting in the game. So that is one reason why there's a lot of more lights. So
I've heard the fast system, also, like Carl has been critical of older remakes, including the CGC stuff, that the latency in the flippers is a problem, but the old boards at CGC were made off Raspberry Pi, I believe. And the fast system, I've heard nothing but positive things about. I think Barrels of Fun uses the fast system in their systems as well. And it's just designed around, emulating kind of the real feel of the original Bally Williams type of games without having, any of the limitations of it being older boards and MOSFETs that could blow up and stuff.
Yeah.
I love that. I have another question regarding that, but I want to side tangent. I love that. To me, the like lower third in between like the slingshots. Get out of here, camera. Don't look at Lord of the Rings. To have an iconic kind of playfield graphic in the center that is basically kind of like, because you're staring right at the flippers the whole time. And I think a lot of games have memories based around the art package right there. The 3 skull setup, the artwork in between the flippers here is iconic. I think that Predator will be immediately recognized as a pinball machine for quite a while based on that little section of playfield. Just shout out to your artist. Personally, I think that's such a great little like set. It's cool looking.
I totally agree. And that was actually one of the first parts of the playfield that Oric came up with. Actually, he did a very quick draft of the map in the center of the playfield, but it was nothing like how it looks today. And that wasn't to be honest, I can say that now, that wasn't super great. I think it was just a test or something. And then right after that, he came up with this part of the playfield, and everybody just went, wow. So we are really super happy about it. So I totally agree.
There's a wow moment for it for sure. There's a few chat questions I want to field real quick too. Joe the Dragon's asking, does it have an adult mode? I'm assuming for making the callouts more profanity driven and or gore driven, as opposed to setting it to more of a family mode. Is there 2 modes for the game or no?
Currently it's not actually, but we are. I know that question is on the table. So we have actually been. I understand fully that that kind of setting, I guess, should be there, and I guess it will be in the end. But from we have had the sort of luxury also to get no restrictions when it comes to using all the when it comes to the policies, I would say from Disney. They are fine that we are using all the scenes with the blood and gore and so on. The game is sort of R-rated, so that is the situation. We don't need to do that, but
yeah, I mean, I don't think people are expecting a family game from Predator. It's not like you would take your 7-year-old to go see Predator in the movie theater. So, but pinball machines are games.
But still, it could make sense anyway that you that you could do that. So yeah.
You say you have all the IP assets for blood and gore and stuff like that, but I know that there's been some mixed trepidation in terms of using Arnold Schwarzenegger and his Schwarzenegger callouts. From what I read, that you have the permission to use any of the there's a lot more Arnold in this game than people expected after hearing that, based on the fact that you can use wide angle shots and whatnot. Is there any movement? I think you mentioned in a previous interview that there could be a software update that would add more Arnold to it if the Disney licensing rights are resolved. Is there a future that you can speak to on that?
Yeah, I can speak to that, but I honestly don't know if that's going to happen or not. It's definitely possible that it's possible, but I must actually add something that has come to my or our attention in today or in the last hours, that there actually is a gameplay video out there which is not put out there by us. It's actually.
Well, I know Nap posted. I think it was Carntaker. There was some distributor that had posted a short video of it, which was a shame because they only like the audio in it is not very good, and it's not like you can control the quality that someone puts out for an unapproved, unreleased video.
Exactly, and I just want to stress that this video is for internal use, and it was like months ago this video was recorded. So. It wasn't meant to be out there, and somebody apparently has broken their NDA here. So it's I just want to stress that there will be proper gameplay videos coming out.
I mean, if anybody watching that video thinks that your game has large sections of silence and no sound effects in it, is living in a dream world that would ever get a release. So obviously that is not the final iteration of the game, but I understand what you're saying. People love to cause a ruckus right now in the pinball community. Let's touch base on that, because you and I talked about that a little bit right at the beginning of the interview. I don't generally like talking about this person a whole lot on my podcast, but Kaneda was really critical of the launch of the Predator like assets and whatnot. And I think there's some criticism to the fact that there were like an unnecessary amount of teasers released. Again, that's like a personal preference thing, but his criticism isn't helpful to the community at large. And smaller pinball companies need to be supported instead of criticized, because it's not a guaranteed business model. Like, if this game doesn't do well, like, that's a problem for you as a business, I would say.
Yeah, true, definitely. So, I mean, we have no problem being criticized, and I think everybody should tell us what they think isn't, what they don't think is good. I mean, we can have different opinions on some things, and I mean, not everything we have done or do is obviously perfect. But I think sometimes it's really goes beyond that, and I think that's not helpful, of course. So,
one of your first videos, you posted how the flipper mechanics had been upgraded. I mean, you didn't have any fear identifying that there was a criticism on a past game, that you guys did something to improve the current game, and then feature it as a, you know, teaser trailer for the release of the new game. I think that's both honest, smart. I mean, like, how can that be criticized in a negative aspect when a company is agreeing with the community at large and integrating their feedback?
Yeah, you tell me. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, all we try to do is to make great games, and we try to improve step by step all the time. And I'm absolutely certain that all the other manufacturers are doing the same thing. And it's really, really tough to develop pinball machines, because there are so many parts, there are so many things in it that needs to work perfectly, or you will experience the game as not great, obviously, when you play it.
Sure.
So I definitely don't want to sound like we should be sort of have some kind of pity for that, because we have stepped into this with open eyes, that we want to make pinball machines. So we sort of like the idea of it being challenging, of course. So we like to challenge ourselves, but yeah, it's just I find the negativity sometimes a little bit overwhelming. Not for us in particular, but in general. I think this is a hobby that people have decided to take part in because of passion. I guess everybody has some passion for pinball. Otherwise, I don't know what they are doing in this hobby or this community. So it feels strange, and a bit. I get sad when I think about that. That it's sometimes it's really too much, to be honest.
Sure. I think that the internet at large loves to live behind the shield of the monitor, and that any criticism they make, they can be critical in a way that's not constructive. And I think that at least something that I try to do is that when I am talking about games that have issues or things that are wrong with them, either if it's design-wise or whatever, art packet or something, that to give a framework of how it can be improved is really important. Saying that somebody is just doing a shitty job is not constructive. And the people that are behind those projects have feelings, and it doesn't motivate people to do a better product. I'm sure your team doesn't want to go online excited that the Pinball Brothers released their new Predator machine and read a bunch of stuff about how their work is poop and that they did a dumb thing. Like, who the hell likes that?
No. No, nobody likes that, and I don't think the guys saying that would like to have that in their faces if they did something. So it's just, but I do understand there is frustration, because there's a lot of things going on actually that it's really hard. I understand that now. It's really hard to see those things. And understand why those things are. If we look at the launch, for instance, if we take that as an example, it's really, really hard to work with big licenses, especially if you're not a super huge business yourself. And there are so many different types of licensing when it comes to it's not just getting approval for your product and what's in the product, but there's another sort of completely different layer to get approval for advertising it. Just because you have the rights to use stuff in your game and it looks a certain way, that doesn't mean that you are allowed to actually post that online, and that is something that it was confusing for me in the beginning also. But there are many layers. This was just one example. So what I mean is that I fully understand that it can be confusing, and people can really have a hard time to realize why did they do this and why did they do that. They are completely stupid. They don't understand anything. But there are reasons.
Sure.
There are always some reasons.
Everybody's an expert, even though they don't know anything about what goes on behind the scenes. I mean, the last thing you want to do is burn a bridge with a licensor too, which is going to cut you off from whatever umpteen number of licenses that they may own that you would have a relationship with and could potentially use for a future game. Is the Predator license acquired by the same group and whatever creative control as Alien? Or did you work with a different IP?
No, it's the same. Yeah.
So this is a good example. I mean, if you did something on Alien that burned a bridge with that licensor, then there wouldn't be a Predator game.
No, exactly. So yeah.
There's a whole slew of important chat questions. One thing obviously we do here is we allow chat to involve themselves, and there's a bunch of people that are excited about your game that have legit questions. It's a miracle. Let's fire them off. Dracula wants to know what's inside the trophy merch package and the jungle kit. What is included in both of those? And he also wants you to know that he ordered the trophy kit to go with their LV Alien and how excited they are.
That's great to hear. The content of the trophy package is you get a shaker motor, and you also get a Yucha glass on the game, which means non-reflective. I wish it was totally invisible like Predator himself, but it's not. But it's still non-reflective. So, and then you have the great looking green metal trim on the game. And you also get quite a new back box lighting. It's 60 RGB individually controlled RGB LEDs on the back of the back box.
Interesting. That ambient lighting, so to speak.
Yeah, it enhances the light show quite a lot when you play certain modes and so on. And then you also get some special treatment in the form of really nice wooden ammo box with some special content. And one thing is actually a limited exclusive poster, one of the ones I have behind me here. So
very cool.
There's a lot of
neat.
and some other interesting stuff.
Nice.
Predator related.
Predator-related mystery items. I do want to give a quick shout out to Michael. Thank you so much for the raid, my dude. Welcome all 9 of you to, we are discussing, if you aren't familiar with who I'm talking to, this is Daniel Janson, CEO of Pinball Brothers. And we're talking about Predator. Obviously, look, there's a bunch of excellent neon artwork Predators behind you, so that's obviously what we're talking about. Soom wants to know, do you have an expected build schedule for games shipping to Europe and the US?
Yes, we do. The first games, we are building games as we speak now. We have started to produce the game, the sort of foundation of the game. I mean, cabinets and stuff, things that we are obviously still in the finalization phase, you could say, with approvals and stuff. So, but the plan is to start shipping the first games mid-August, and why that is a few weeks or a number of weeks ahead from now is basically because we are waiting. We know that there is a longer lead time for a few of the parts, mainly the molded parts, I would say, the Predator and the camp mold.
For sure.
So that is the situation. When it comes to the shipping schedule between Europe and the US and the rest of the world, it's still sort of being planned, because one thing is obviously a big problem actually is that we don't really know about the tariff situation, of course. So we have that pause coming to an end. I think is it the 9th of July or something like that. So we don't really know what happens after that. So what what we are thinking is that we should be flexible here, because if the tariffs would be super high for some reason after the 9th, maybe people in the US would like to sort of wait a bit for their games, or we don't really know. So
Sure.
we are playing a little bit with flexibility here.
Some companies have taken one stance on one side and some have taken on some on the other. Do you believe that it is the consumer's responsibility to take the cost of the tariffs when purchasing a product that is, you know, a $10,000, $11,000?
It's a really good question. Of course, it isn't. I think the consumer is sort of are suffering. The consumers are obviously suffering from all taxes, kind of taxes. So what we are trying to do is to work with the situation there is. I mean, we have tried to put the price on this game that is as low as we possibly can, actually, because we know that, and I know that might sound weird because it's a lot of money for a game. I know that, but we have really packed this one. It's really a fully packed Widebody game, so it costs a lot of money to produce it, basically. So, but that is one thing, and then we are also discussing with our distributors. And we have ideas, and we have a strategy for if the tariffs would come up from the level they are on now, 10%. We will try our best to help the distributors to keep.
I saw that Flippin' Out had posted that there is a cap on the tariffs that they are willing to charge in addition to the shipping fees. I'm assuming this is partly what you're talking about. Exactly.
So, I mean, what the bottom line, I guess, is that both us and the distributors are trying our best to keep the price down, basically. But in the end of the day, if the tariffs are on a really high level, it's impossible, more or less. I mean, it can't be. We can't do magic. So
for sure. I mean, this is what would be considered a lose-lose situation for both parties, because it's not like you're trying to take advantage of the customer. They're not responsible for the tariffs going up, but neither are you. Yet, as a business, you are still in the position of controlling what the ultimate cost is for the consumer to acquire your product. So I don't envy your position whatsoever, because if, like you said, if the cost is too much, I mean, look, shipping a game overseas with the additional $400 or $500 or whatnot that the shipping, I don't want to put a price number on that. I forget what the Flippin' Out site said. Plus the tariffs puts your game at the cost of what a lot of LE values are from local manufacturers. That's a scary situation. I mean, what confidence can you give the consumer that money is in the best possible interest that you can for the product that they're getting?
Yeah, and I think one of the hardest parts is to plan for something that you don't know. That is even harder. I mean, if we knew that this is the situation, this is what we have to work with, then it would be easier to come up with something and also be to inform everybody. This is how it works. This is
sure.
But right now we are just trying to help distributors a bit, and we are just crossing our fingers that it will work out, basically.
I think transparency is really important. When July 9th rolls around, will Pinball Brothers send out some sort of notification with their plan on how they're going to handle tariffs to the consumers that may be interested in their products?
We haven't decided that we should send any sort of public information at that date, but first we have to see what happens that date, I think, and then we make a decision. But of course, we want to inform, be as transparent as we can, but basically with everything, I would say. So yeah.
Totally. Marshall, for what it's worth, I'm very excited for your game. I realize that we're being a little critical right now, but I think that whether you're a large company or a small company, that being honest with the consumer, especially when it comes to large amounts of money that they're spending, is important. I mean, you can be transparent and then they can make their decision. It's not a good or bad thing. I mean, transparency, I guess, is only good. Marshall Riggs is asking, he's saying that you should have done gameplay. Dude, of course there's going to be gameplay. Like, obviously, this game wants to be shown off. It's not, there's a reason. Is there a time that we can expect kind of an official gameplay video drop?
Yeah, you should have gameplay in a few days, I would say. That is the idea. We have a weird habit in Sweden this week, actually. So it was kind of a bit of a lousy decision to launch the game right before Midsommarafton, which is Midsummer's Eve in English.
Sure.
So we have a bank holiday where everybody are really off this tomorrow. So we have a
always good to do a big release for a product during a holiday, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, what percentage of your market sales are in the States, though? I mean, like, you are catering to a hobby that is predominantly, I'm not saying I'm British, by the way, even though I live in America, but the large volume of pinball originates, or at least is consumed, by the United States. What percentage of your sales generally are there versus European sales?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It is a US thing, obviously. But it varies a little bit for us. Maybe it does for the others as well. I don't know. But for ABBA, for instance, we had a lot of sales, obviously, outside US. For Predator, I would expect it to be like something like 70-30 for US versus the rest of the world. And I guess Alien was something similar. Gotcha. So yeah, it's kind of in one way, kind of a stupid idea to manufacture pinball machines outside the US.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Spain and Italy are obviously huge consumers of pinball as well, and Euro Pinball Corp, your parent company, and also Pedretti Gaming are both under that umbrella and also located in Italy. I mean, I think that puts a pretty strong hub of pinball located in the center of Europe.
Yeah, you're right. I'm joking a bit, but of course, it's undoubtedly so that the big part of the total pinball market is in the US. That is undeniable. So, but of course, it is a lot of pinball machines in Europe and also in Australia, I think, and to some extent in other places also. I think South America and the Middle East and so on. So sure. Yeah.
One of our Denmark fans is asking, is there going to be a retro kit for previous Pinball Brother games for the new flipper technology?
Never say never. I can't really say right now, but it's a good question, and we can definitely look into technical things onwards, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I realize this feels like a hot seat interview at this point. We have one more thing that I had talked about that I would put it on the critical level of current events, and it's AI. You and I talked about this in our little pre-chat, that currently Jersey Jack is being criticized, in my opinion, rightly so. Some people may not care about this, but that their playfield has AI artwork on it and modified AI assets. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with scaling up stuff using AI algorithms, just because sometimes you cannot get assets that are of a resolution that's high enough for print. But using AI to design elements where you could clearly have a human do it on a product that you're doing for paying artists to make is strange to me. Does Pinball Brothers have any AI artwork on its playfield?
No, and we never had. So we haven't worked with AI at all. Except for in advertising, and so we work with agencies, and they seem to love working with AI at some occasions.
It helps them cut costs. Of course, they would love that.
It does, and to be fair, pinball isn't the biggest business, and we have obviously limited resources like everybody. So we try to put as much of our budget into the games that we design and build. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you for answering that. I had felt that many companies would just shy away from that, and I appreciate Pinball Brothers for being super transparent with a lot of this. I think that, again, you and I talked about how important it is supporting smaller pinball companies, and that if people want more pinball, they need to support all of the pinball companies instead of just being relentlessly critical in a way that's not helpful. It sounds to me you guys made a game that you loved, and it's now available for people.
Yeah, that's nice. Was that a question?
It's an observation, but I would love to hear your opinions on it. What's your favorite part of Predator? The game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess everybody say this, but we have literally worked day and night for many months, and everybody in the development team really love Predator. I mean, that is obviously the biggest reason why we made the game at all. So I mean, regardless if people will like the game in the end or it's going to be considered that good or that good, we have done everything we can to make this as good as possible. We want to buy this game ourselves or play this game, I would say. So the best part of the game is really hard to say, but I think the sort of composition, maybe that's a really weird answer, but we really like the way the composition of the game came out with all the stuff in it. I mean, it's really crowded because you have the quite huge camp mold, you have the minigun and that ramp, and you have the Predator, which is also takes quite some space, but still you have quite an open playfield. So we really like that part of the layout. Not that part. That result of the how the layout came out basically. But should I say something in particular for me personally? I think I really like one very important thing. Obviously, is the fights with the Predator itself. So we will continue to improve that for a long time ahead. When you fight the Predator, you should really feel like you are fighting it. I mean, he's making all his typical Predator sounds, and we have a great light show, as we talked about before, with lights. And so that part, I think, is very cinematic, and I think that's a good part of the game. But there are other moments also, and other parts. I love the minigun and how that's turned out and so on.
I see the mod maker community is already diving into it too. I saw somebody is producing kind of like an all metal like minigun. I mean, the game hasn't even been released yet. It's amazing.
It's actually in metal, I would say. It looks like black plastic, but it is metal. So
your actual mechanism is metal as well. That's very cool.
Yeah, but they can make a mod for sure. We don't mind about that. But I want to say something else. Yeah, one thing that we really try to capture in this game is the feeling of the movie when it comes to the contrasts. I mean, there are quite large parts of the movie where they walk around. Everything is quite silent and eerie, and we don't. The game isn't silent, completely silent, of course not. But we tried to sort of capture that feeling of a little bit of on and off. So, I think that is one part that people love about Alien also. That is a good feeling in the game, that you are stepping into that world, and that is the aim for this game also. When you push the start button, you should feel like you are in the jungle, and things are a bit scary, and then at various moments, of course, the hell breaks loose, just like in the movie. So that is
the art and sound package of Alien like really sucks you into the game, and I think that a lot of people are hoping and expecting kind of the same thing from Predator.
Yeah, that's the idea.
From the rule set, it sounds like there's just a lot of mode stacking and kind of acquiring characters in it. It sounds like the core rule set of this game is going to be quite interesting. Can you talk a little bit about the person involved in that and what we're potentially looking forward to in terms of modes and whatnot?
Yeah. I mean, with everything we do it in collaboration. So we are working in teams and so on. But I'm actually been sort of responsible for the rules and that part of the game. And me and Andreas Mellström has been we are the main guys behind the rule set. So yeah, we want. Of course, you need to have. Quite extensive rules, but you also need to. You can't make Predator too complicated because Predator isn't about being complicated. It's a sort of
the horror film, or I'm sorry, the action film itself is very straightforward. You know, fight the monster.
And we think it's about. It should be a great experience playing the game mainly. But that said, we obviously need to have great rules in the game also. It's no denying about that. So there is actually quite a lot of strategy in the game. You can collect the crew members, the soldiers, and Anna, the hostage, in the game, and that depending on how many crew members you bring into modes, you can score better from that. But they also have to survive the modes to give you that benefit.
Does that increase jackpot value, I imagine, if your characters that you bring into modes actually make it through it?
Yeah, exactly. And the mode, you can say the mode bonus is affected by it. So also, but you also definitely need to bring your crew into the fights with the Predator, because that is deciding how. I mean, when you meet the Predator, he actually tries to kill your crew, and he will. If you don't hit him, he will kill your crew, take them out one by one, basically. And you have to drive him away, fight him off, and then you can go into search mode where you have to find him again, and then you can revive your crew members. So that is a bit of a. So if you just bring one crew member into the fight, you have a very slim chance of actually play that fight with him for a longer time.
Sure.
So
that's a great way of kind of diluting the story into like a gamified component that works for a pinball machine instead of trying to like make a story out of it. It's just like, what's the core like feedback loop of dealing with the Predator? It's finding it, having it not kill my guys, and then fighting it off. So I think that's a really smart way of approaching that.
Yeah, I mean, that is the core of the movie, I guess. So it's it was kind of a no-brainer in one way, but yeah, it also has to be fun to play it in the game, and sure. It's kind of works great because it becomes a bit stressful when he sets sight on the crew member. You know who he will take out in a certain.
Sure.
Number of seconds.
We have a mountain of chat questions. Let me get through. I want to ask some of these because they're really good. Tenacious Explosive actually has a regular question now that he's done getting mad about AI and screaming like a 7-year-old, which I already have one, so I don't mind anything you say, including my gray hair. My hair's receding too, if you want to make fun of that. The thing about your future IPs, you had sneaked in, here, let's make a cool mohawk for him. You had said that you have other IPs that are potentially coming from 80s stuff, because you love doing like 80s style franchises now. Do we have any idea of doing kind of horror related ones? He's asking with, because Spooky has already dove into kind of like the Evil Dead stuff and the horror content in general. Are you going to consume and produce more IPs that are in that kind of like 80s action film like ecosystem?
Without saying too much, and to be honest, we have plans for a couple of years ahead, but we are looking into more long-term plans. So I can't say I don't know that much, but I know some things. And without saying too much, I would say that this is the direction that we think we are good at that, actually. And we love
Alien is a really fun game.
So it's fair to say that we are looking in that direction. That is the sort of bottom line, I guess. But horror, not so much. I don't think that it could happen. It could happen, but I don't think that that is. I think that is closer to obviously closer to Spooky's DNA.
Sure, and you aren't Spooky. You're Pinball Brothers doing their own thing. Soom says that, is there any reason that you went with fast hardware? You kind of touched base a little bit on this. He says he's using it for his homebrew and he's excited about getting into that ecosystem. Is there a reason that you went with them? You said you had a kind of a partnership with them because they're inside of the ecosystem.
Yeah, we it's inside the Funhouse remake, and so it was kind of we have worked with them for quite a while, so it was kind of a natural development, I would say. We really like the system, and we really like the guys at Fast, Aaron and Dave and Eli. And I mean, they are amazing. They are really devoted to making great stuff, I would say. So it's a pleasure working with them, and I also think that the things they make are, I mean, it's obviously great. So
I mean, there's a lot of major or of the smaller pinball manufacturers that are adopting that platform. Like they wouldn't be integrating it into their systems if it didn't work great. Right?
No, not exactly. And if from our perspective, there are also, I mean, it's just really a win-win-win situation, I think, because it's a lot easier. Or I can turn it around. I can put it the other way. It's really stupid and quite hard, honestly, long term, to sort of work with two different systems. It doesn't really make sense.
I got a rapid fire 3 questions for you. It's not going to be the Raven thing, I promise this time. Yes or no? Ready?
Yeah.
Or is there going to be some sort of Predator vision in the game?
Yes.
Are there any Carl Weathers Easter eggs hidden in the game?
Could be.
I said yes or no. That's a maybe.
Yeah, that's a maybe.
Oof, yuck. All right, is fighting the Predator the wizard mode?
Yes.
Is there going to be a topper?
Maybe.
That's 2 maybes and a yes or no. What is it? You're not understanding the whole point of the exercise here.
I'm from Sweden. We always are sort of neutral and in the middle of everything. So you have to bear with me.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Just for that, we're going to ask a different set of 3 questions. Since you are obviously involved with one of the most important companies doing remakes for the pinball community, which of these 3 games do you think deserves to have the remake made for it to bring it to the modern age? Raven? Raven? Or Raven?
I'm not sure, actually, but I can tell you one thing, and that is our mechanical engineer, Peter Dahlman, who came up with the project name Raven for this project. He would certainly love to do a remake for do Raven as a remake. That I'm sure of.
So he named his product after such an iconic game as Raven.
Yeah. So it might happen. It might happen. We don't know.
We can only live in a world where we hope that that's the case.
Yeah.
So I know that Joe the Dragon is here. Joe the Dragon is not only a mod for my channel, but also someone who's very passionate about competition modes in pinball. Does your game have a competition mode? Is it designed around competition play? Did that come into the design philosophy for it at all? Please don't say maybe again. Get out of here with that.
No. I will not say maybe. We will have a competition mode, yes, in the game. But the question, if even if we would love to see people compete on this game, I think if I have to answer, I think the real answer is that we have slightly more focus on the experience when you play the game. That it should be really be that you are experiencing Predator. stepping into that world. And but competition is important also, and we are interested in that. We are competing locally in and so on. So it's not that we are not interested in that, but it's you can only have a certain focus when you develop a game.
Sure. So kind of piggybacking on that. So, the recent last 20 years or so, the home collector market is easily out acquired games than the operator market. Is your game, was it designed around one or the other? Like, did you guys do kind of like heavy testing on mechanics to make sure that there's no failures? I mean, I know that that's part of the pinball process to begin with, but would you say that this game is more of a home game, or is it more of an on-location game, or is that irrelevant in your design philosophy?
I think it is relevant, but since we took the decision to pack this game as we did with loads of stuff, I guess that is, in one sense, it doesn't mean that we are aiming for public locations and so on. But we really hope that the game will be put on location and played there, because when it comes to stability and reliability, I mean, that is one thing why we are partnering with Fast, the guys, and we are making improvements in every area. So, but if I should, the bottom line, I guess, is that we are. I guess it's slightly more for home use, basically.
Okay. Now that the game is released, so to speak, what is the best place that people can either acquire the game if they're interested in purchasing it? Is there a plan for locations that are going to have it available so people can experience it and make the decision for themselves? Like, what's the forecast for the next, like, I don't know, month or so in terms of people that want to get their hands on a game?
Yeah, but I mean, we have been not so good at that, I think, before. But this time we will really try to make sure that we can spread the game out so as many people as possible can see the game and play the game. So that's definitely in the strategy. Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. I'm checking my notes now. I think that's really all the stuff that I have about Predator. Is there anything that you'd love to contribute or pop in here that's going on at Pinball Brothers that you want people to know about, or that you have coming up that they want to? I mean, obviously Predator, get you a Predator. But yeah, if you have anything that you'd love to plug, go for it.
Yeah, I really think that, I mean, first of all, we appreciate all the nice words that we have received so far. People seem to, apart from some, obviously, that we talked about before, but most people seem to like what they see. And I really hope that everybody can get to play the game as soon as possible. Because if you are a Predator fan, I think this is the closest you can get to that jungle, actually. So, and you can find the game if you go to our website, pinballbrothers.com. You have all the distributors on there, and you can also get the game from pbusasales.com. So
I'm pulling up your distributor list on the website right now. There you go. Kind of. Except that it won't scroll down enough. Anyways, you know how to use a website. There's some of them. Angry Alpaca, we already covered that topic, talking about tariffs. Just to sum it really quickly, that they're working with the distributors to try to find a balanced cost that isn't going to cause any problem with the consumer, but at the same token helps to take care of the shipping costs, because the tariffs aren't something that they can control. Joe the Dragon is asking, Expo, are you guys going to, I'm assuming you're talking about Pinball Expo in Chicago. Are you planning on being there with Predator?
Without having made any sort of firm plans, I would say yes. I mean, the Predator should be at Expo. That's for sure. Okay.
Joe's saying, our game's going to have online updates, and I guess better updates. I don't know if this is directed at ABBA or Alien. I'm not familiar with it, but where the 2 to 3 updates need to be installed in consecutive order in order to get to a playable build, or... What is the process for updating the game changed?
Yes, it should be much easier. We definitely hear you. There has been too many updates, and it's also hasn't been clear enough. So I apologize for that. Really, we are looking into making these updates for onwards for all games. I would say a lot easier and quicker.
Wolfman's asking why On Tilt is not on the North American distributor list. The way that they handle game distribution is a little unique. But it does sound like On Tilt is getting one. I'm excited about that. That means I will be playing it at some point, which is great. I'm looking forward to that. Tenacious Explosivo wants you to start doing some stuff in Dallas, which I guess isn't AP doing contract manufacturing now. Any interest in having American Pinball make your games in America?
I think anything is possible. I mean, manufacturing in the US in general. But for the moment, there are no plans on that. So it's quite a big, would be quite a big step for a company like us, I think.
All right. Well, thank you so much for hopping on early morning, and I'm sure you were tired from the litany of interviews that you've had to do on this topic. This game looks awesome. I'm really excited to play it. I think that, as we talked earlier, that every pinball person that is trying to make a game is trying to make the best possible game. And, I at least speak for some sort of majority of some pinball community that I can't wait to get my hands on it. Thank you again, Daniel, for taking the time to hop on with us and talk about this game. If you are watching this and you'd like what you see, consider supporting the smaller pinball companies to make sure that the pinball market still has competition and that companies like Pinball Brothers can make future 80s action title games like that more of us need. And Raven remakes. Please do not don't cut that off the list. All right?
No, we shouldn't. We keep it on the list. I promise.
Amazing. All right, then as we do here, we're gonna go find someone to raid. And we're gonna do the flow dance in the background. Daniel, hold around for just a second after the interview, just so I can say thanks. I forgot to mention that in our previous talk. And thank you everybody for watching. If you're listening to this on VOD later on, we've got tons of podcasts up talking about all sorts of parts of the pinball community. We just did one with, speaking of Texas, we just did one with What's Brewing, which is a pinball arcade in San Antonio that is also a coffee roastery. Interesting. What a mashup. Is there any place that if people do have questions that they want to reach out to you about, or if there's any way that they want to contact Pinball Brothers about something, is there an avenue of contact that is appropriate for that?
Yes, I think you can message us on our Facebook page, or you can always send an email to info@pinballbrothers.com.
I forgot. I do have one other question. How many Daniels work at your company?
Too many. No,
I feel like every time I talk to somebody else there, it's a new Daniel.
Yeah, I guess it's a quite common name in Sweden, and I think it's even quite common in Italy. So, and we have a lot of Andreas and Andrea also. So it's a total confusion every day. So,
do you have nicknames? Do you use last letter abbreviations? Like, how do you define the different Daniels?
Yeah, we use the last name often. So
there you go.
That's
Mystery
the easy way
solved.
out. Yeah.
All right. Thank you again, everybody. I'm going to flip it over to BRB. Please hang out and let's go raid someone who's doing some pinball stuff. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.